Mark G.E, and I am the director of music video for Exposed Foreheads, and the song is called Mess Up.
Well, thank you for being here today, Mark.
Yeah, good to
You
see
were
you.
you were with us last year with your anniversary film, The Phantom Limb,
Yeah, thanks.
and you are here this year with a brand new project, a music video. Can you tell us a little bit about your band? Because it's been around for a while, so most of the stuff that you're doing nowadays is with that band, Exposed Foreheads.
Yeah, I'm sort of in a unique position. I'm both the founder of the band, Exposed Foreheads, the lyricist, and also the guy who's making the most of the music videos. Um, and so it's kind of an interesting dual role that I have. Um, Basically, the music video was based on during the last Trump administration, and um,
Hopefully, the
and
last one.
right. During that, there was also COVID going on. The summer was going crazy. The White House had been gated and fenced off. There were riots and issues going on with Black Lives Matter and people dying in the streets. And when most of us were isolating and thinking that we were maybe going to die. So things felt particularly dystopian at that moment, and a little helpless. Like, are we going to live like this forever? At that point, I thought about everything's messed up, and everyone I knew pretty much felt everything's messed up. And so I wrote these lyrics to a song called Mess Up.
It's messed up beyond belief. We've gone too far. We're in too deep. I do the mess up. We'll do the mess
And then I put on my director hat, and I saw a 50s jazz album cover that was black, white, and very gray, and it had a lot of sort of cloudy haziness to it. And I thought, this is really good. I really like the way this looks. It really inspired me. And from that point on, I just started thinking about like where I just going to make a performance video of the band playing. So what I did is I started thinking, well, a lot of people are talking about AI. This is even a couple years ago, and that AI is really kind of part of the beginning or the next step in our decline. And so at that point, I thought I'm gonna use AI to create the backdrops and all the architecture and buildings. I started thinking brutalist architecture was probably the best, um, and and really started working toward creating these backdrops that the band could play against, which would be in a future dystopian society, um, and uh, and that's where we came up with the look. So in Photoshop, I was able to uh, finish these backdrops for us to play against, and then thought in the future we're going to be wearing these. We're sort of a science band, a sci-fi band. So
Mhm.
we wore the costumes really seemed like they should be these white lab coats with black rubber gloves. Um, and it had a bit of a
Make
maybe a few, yeah.
Does that make playing the guitar a little difficult?
So yeah, in actuality, it would be impossible. Obviously, the guitar player is miming himself playing the guitar for the music video. But you're right, it would be impossible to really do it. We thought about it at one point, like, does the guitar player need to not have that, or should he have his fingers cut out? But we really, in a music video, how it looks is really important, right?
Yeah.
And then my son Alex composited everybody together. So there's many shots of the band playing in a wide shot together that actually never really happened in reality. I think he pulled it off really well.
Your son
So
has a project too in this film festival, music video that from your band as well.
Right, and that's absolutely wonderful. We're very proud of that and happy. Alex is a great young filmmaker, and I'm a little biased, I would suspect. And he's in film school. And when he was down in Chicago, he was working on Flash Cube with his friends to create a different storyline uh, for that song and video, and a very different look. So mine is this future dystopian black and white thing, and his is more of a late 70s indie punk street sort of film. There's a point at which I think I'm have this scream, oh, yeah, or something like that, and I'm like shaking my fist, and the screen starts to shake.
Yeah.
And I think that Alex just did a great job of really capturing that emotion of things crumbling and falling apart. It's very interesting. We've sent the video around the world to different festivals, and it mostly got into festivals in European sort of post-Russian festivals.
Is
You
that,
know,
do you
so
think that's because of the influence and look of it?
I that's what we're thinking. We're thinking that perhaps it could be because they have a lot of brutalist architecture in their
Yeah.
cities still left, and maybe they relate to it on some
Yeah.
level. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I mean, like like all of those, Czechoslovakia, like in Slovakia and Poland, and just all of these other places that sort of architecture reigns. That's where it has played and done really well at festivals.
Who is in your band? Name your band members. Okay.
Yes, Kelp Choffs is the keyboard player. Tommy K, Tom Cornfen is our bass player. He's wearing a steampunk hat. Andy Stillen is our drummer. He has a drum with a bunch of tubes around it. Greg Barta is our guitar player. Um, that is not the full band. The full band includes Linda and Teresa Stargirl. They're not in this song or in this music video. But if you come and see us live, that you'll definitely see the Stargirls, and they've starred in their own videos.
Okay. So what's your influence music wise for this band? I have a feeling it's mostly like 80s new wave kind of,
Definitely.
Devo, Blondie.
In general, our music, this is a little edgier, darker, and harder rock than a lot of what we do. We tend to think of ourselves more as a quirky, happily quirky pop band. So yeah, Devo is definitely in the DNA. B-52s, Gang of Four would be something that people refer to us quite a bit about. I think in this song, it's probably a little more edgier than all of that. It could be more late 80s and bands like Killing Joke and stuff like that. So a little darker. So yeah, the 80s have definitely been our wheelhouse and where we're from. Some of the newer stuff we're about to put out has more of a 90s feel, perhaps. And It's interesting as a band, you really get sort of it's really a double-edged sword. You get categorized and maybe even categorize ourselves. I mean, if you look behind me, there's actually right up here is an energy dome
Oh, okay.
here. So it's like I'm guilty, but we really didn't set out to be Devo. It just must be something that's in us, the way we see things, and definitely the philosophy behind all that de-evolution. But I don't think we set out to do it. It just is perhaps what comes out of us naturally. Um, and we've really tried to maybe move into other directions and found that that isn't what people tend to maybe respond to as much. So when we do a heavier or harder edge song, sometimes that doesn't end up being the what is always responded to. So it's frustrating sometimes as an artist. You want to grow, you want to do different kinds of things. As filmmakers, you want to make different kinds of movies. As
Yeah.
you know, I have a long history in making black and white films.
Yeah.
So, but and then here I am making a black and white one again, and perhaps it's just I there's something about me and making black and white films that works, or I understand it, or I know how to light it. I don't know if I know what it's
It
about.
could be, I feel the same way about some of that stuff too. It's could because you grew up watching black and white movies and a part of you likes the look of it. I do. I mean, a lot of my early stuff was all black and white.
Right. I always felt like I leaned toward black and white because I'm a little colorblind.
Mhm.
Um, and so, and I don't like how reds had always looked in video back when in the day when we were coming
Yeah.
up and on three
They
quarter
always looked
inch.
a little orangey. Yeah.
Yeah. So I shied away from a lot of that stuff, and black and white always looked crisp, and I felt I knew how to light it better, and it was much more interesting. Well, maybe it pares down the information to make it more palatable, and color at times can maybe overwhelm and confuse me a bit.
Well, I always as a photographer myself too, I always chose black and white instead of color. There's a few times I've shot in color, but I just find that without the color, you're focused more on the image and what's in the image to me, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
You obviously gonna make more music videos with your band, but are you gonna try narrative again soon?
Yeah, so yeah, we are making more music videos. In fact, we have something for the end of the month that we're going to hopefully shoot for which has more of an early 70s look to it. Kind of hopefully inspired by some early Elizabeth Taylor films
Yeah.
that we're doing. And then we also uh I, I think for the narrative question, I have a few scripts actually finished for some short narratives that I would like to do. And I just haven't, I've been so busy with the band that I have just, our production schedule is pretty high and we put music out pretty regularly and want to make videos for that stuff uh, that I just have not had a chance to really get back to that. But if I do find a lull in the future, my plan is that there's at least one narrative in me yet that I plan to do. Um, I'm interested in seeing what happens with my son, and I'm hoping that he continues. And once in a while, I might be able to tag along and help him with productions also.
Well, that's cool. Well, thank you for sending us the film.
Thanks for playing it. I'm very happy that you're screening us. Thank you again.
Well,